What's going on, everybody? It's a Creative Fro checking back in for another episode of Fireside Tech. I hope you enjoyed your week and are ready to learn something new, because today I'm going to be showing you how to create high quality professional GIFs for your Instagram. Now, before I dive into this tutorial, don't forget to hit that big red subscribe button if you have yet to already, and also turn that notification bell on just for fun. So GIFs are a great way to grab attention, especially in today's age where there seems to be a lot more posts going up. You only have a certain amount of time to grab attention. So by using a GIF, this could be a great way to pull attention to your brand page or your personal page, whatever you're trying to bring attention to. This will stop people in their tracks because of the motion that it gives off. And if they're scrolling by, this could probably make them scroll back up to see what they just passed. So I wanted to take you through some of the tips I use to create these GIFs, and hopefully you can put them together and use these tips to make your own GIFs. To create these high quality GIFs, what you're gonna need first off is an idea. And an idea of a GIF can either come from browsing on the web and seeing other GIFs, or you can go the other way and make a storyboard for them. Now, when you're making the storyboard, you're only gonna wanna think about 3 to 4 frames, and I mean 3 to 4 pictures of the GIF and the motion you want it to do. So you wanna stick from anywhere from 3 to 4 photos to create the actual GIF. Now, once you have an idea, or you have brainstormed an idea of a GIF that you want, now we have to take action and get the photos of this GIF. So to get these photos, you're gonna need a camera or a phone, and you're also gonna need something to stabilize the camera or phone. So I'd recommend having a tripod or a monopod, an overhead rig, or anything you can use that will stabilize your camera and keep it in the same spot, because you cannot have these photos be in different positions in between, because it won't be seamless when you put the photos together, and you're gonna tell the jitteriness in between. So keep in mind to keep things stable, sturdy, and everything is in line so these GIFs stay seamless. When you're taking the photo, usually when you press your finger down onto the camera, that can cause the camera shake. So you're gonna wanna use the timer on your camera, set that for 10 seconds or whatever, press it and let it go. And by the time it takes the photo, the shake should be done. Or you can use a tethered cable that you can put into your camera and remotely turn the shutter off. And the last option, if you don't have that, you could set up your phone to your camera wirelessly and use the shutter from that to take the photos. So once you've taken the 3 to 4 photos, what I normally do is take them into Lightroom and just touch up the lights and colors a little bit more before I take it into Photoshop. Now, to create this actual GIF, we're gonna be using Photoshop as a platform. So if you don't have that, you can try a free trial, or ask a friend if you can borrow a password and just to make a couple GIFs possibly. That could work too as well. So now I'm gonna take you inside the creative space to show you where we do most of our photo shoots here for VAV. And I'll show you how I set up my overhead rig, because I don't have one, and I just use a monopod with some weights to hold it down, and that's how I got the pictures for our first VAV GIF. And we just posted that, so you guys can check that out and see if you like it. Why don't we jump into the creative space and get some photos. All right, so here we are inside the creative space, and I just want to show you the setup that I'm using to do these GIFs. Now, you don't have to do an overhead rig, but I like the look that it gives off for the GIF, so I'm gonna do that again for this one here. Kindly, Carly let us borrow her shoes. She has smaller feet than me, so I was thinking just getting footsteps moving forward would be a nice, easy, simple GIF tutorial for you guys at a high quality production. Also, another quick tip for your branding. What I used for our last GIF was this construction paper that we got from the dollar store. It's just black, so this matches our brand colors because we use black and white. And I put this onto the floor here, and I just put each separate item on top of there and took a photo 3 different times, and I made that GIF that you would have seen if you checked out our Instagram. I had to redo the photos a couple times because the movement of the cardboard itself. Like I said, you want to keep this seamless, so you don't want any movement between each frame. But today we're not going to use this. I'm just going to be putting the shoes on the floor. So let's move this out of the way. And I have the monopod here, so I'm just going to turn it on. And this is my Canon camera set up here. Put it at the edge, just to where I can't see that wooden table. And you can crop things in post too as well, so don't be too worried if you see some of the edges, because I had some edges the other day and I got that out in post production. That's why we use Photoshop and Lightroom to help those imperfections. I'm just using 8-pound weights here. So what I'm using is that little arrow thing here to balance out, so I know that when it is green in the middle, that we are at perfect balance. You see right there, I like that. What I'm gonna do now though, just to get ready for taking the photos, is open up my camera and turn on my Bluetooth so I can connect this camera to this phone so I can set off the shutter by just pressing the button on here. So I'm going into the Canon Connect app. But first things first, I'm gonna have to connect it to the Wi-Fi. So I forgot, you gotta turn the Wi-Fi button on this side here. So I'm just gonna press that in. It's gonna prompt me on the screen here. So Clayton. Now it's searching, and I'm just waiting here on my phone side to see it pop up. And then once that happens, I'm gonna select it. So I'm just gonna collect live remote view. So now we can see the shoes on the ground. I'm just gonna get it set up for the first frame right now. And I'm using this screen as my reference. So let's just, okay. So now I'm gonna start here with the first frame. Let's make sure. I'm just gonna focus in. So I'm using manual focus. Okay, now, so what I'm gonna do first is take the first photo, and I'm doing 4 for this tutorial. So our first photo is going to be, I think I wanna keep it like this. So I'm gonna just shoot it here. And now for the next one, I'm gonna put this shoe right here. Take another photo. That's 2. Bring this one up. Oh shoot. That's out of frame already. Let's just put them beside each other. That's 3. Or is that 2? That's 2. Okay. Now let's put it this way, and let's point them back into each other. Okay. Now I know it's not the most exciting GIF, but you could do this with any 3 to 4 photos. As I said, this is up to you to come up with that creative ideas, and I know all of you out there have creative ideas, so put them to use and come up with some really cool GIFs. But now, since we have all our 4 photos, we can take this onto the computer and edit them together, and then we can finish making our GIFs. So I'm just gonna shut down here, and we're gonna jump on the computer. So now I'm just importing these photos into Lightroom. So I'm just gonna click import. I'm just gonna touch up these photos a little bit here. Nothing too crazy, just before we bring them into Photoshop. I'm just importing these photos into a file folder that I can find on the desktop for later, because we're gonna need that for Photoshop. So I'm just gonna call this shoes GIF. Export this one. Okay, so now all of those photos are in a folder on the desktop. What you're gonna do is open up Photoshop and hit File, scroll down to Scripts here, and then what we're gonna do is select Load Files into Stack. And now from here, we're gonna have to browse. We left that on the desktop under Shoes GIF, so that's set up here. So let's go Shift, select those all and open. We'll just hit OK. Now it's just generating a new layer on Photoshop here. So we'll have 4 of our photos that we have on the right hand side, and it should have a timeline at the bottom for us. So now to get started, if you're not seeing this bottom box here, this timeline bar, what you're gonna do is hit Window and go down to Timeline and just check that off so you can see it. And then from here, you're gonna wanna make sure if Create Video Timeline is already selected, you just hit that drop down box and choose Create Frame Animation. And then after you have that, just click it, and that's what's gonna give you that GIF look. We're gonna wanna change our duration of each photo to be at other, and we're gonna type 0.3. And that is the sweet spot for GIFs, so just keep it at that. And the last thing you're gonna wanna change, if this is at once or 3 times, change it to forever, because you want this GIF to keep looping. And now we have our GIF ready to be created. So what you're gonna do is hit this button here. It's called Duplicate Selected Frames. So we need 3 more to create 4 frames for this GIF. So we're gonna hit it 3 more times. 1, 2, 3. And now we have 4 photos. So let's go to the first one, and we are good on this one here since we can see the first shoes. This is where we want to start. So now we're gonna have to change it to the second one, because now you're seeing it's the same shot over and over. So to be able to see that second shot, we're gonna have to unselect the first layer, and then that gives us our second shot. Now to do the third one, you see it takes you back to that first photo, but don't be worried, because you just uncheck these eyes here, and that gives you the third photo, and so on and so forth. I think you get the rest for the fourth. And now, if you just quickly play this, you have a little bit of a GIF. And there you have it. So, this isn't done yet though. So to ensure this GIF is going to be seamless and keeps playing back, what we're going to want to do is just copy the middle 2 frames here. So you're going to hold shift and select 2 and 3. And we're going to hit this duplicate button again. And we're just going to drag that ending clip back to the end here. Then you're going to select the 2 new clips that you just pasted and go over here and select reverse frames. And now when you play this back from the start, it should come back. And there you have it. So now you've just created the seamless part, but when we post this on Instagram, Instagram needs at least a 3-second video to be posted. So hold down shift and select all of them and hit duplicate once, twice. Just do one more time for good measure. So let's play it back one more time. And there you have it. And that's your GIF. So now what we're gonna do is make sure that this image size is 2000 pixels by 2000 pixels. So we're gonna go up to image size, make sure our canvas is 2000 by 2000. We're just gonna hit OK. And the reason you're doing this is because Instagram is gonna compress your GIF anyway, so it's better to do it in Photoshop. It will hold more of its higher quality when posted on Instagram. So we're just gonna play it back again from here, and the GIF is complete. So now all you have to do to export this is go up to File, Export, and then we're gonna choose Render Video ... And you can name it. I'm just gonna choose GIF Instagram. And everything should be good here. All you're gonna wanna make sure is that your document size is 2000 pixels by 2000. If that's good, hit render. And once this video is exported and rendered out, just airdrop it to your phone. If you don't airdrop, use an email service or any other way that you get your footage to your phone. Do it that way, and then you can post on Instagram. So let's jump back in front of that fire and wrap this video up. And there you have it. I hope everybody enjoyed today's tutorial. Please like this video if you did, comment down below if there's anything you want to see from Fireside Tech, and share this video if you think it could help somebody. I hope you enjoy your upcoming week and crush it. I can't wait to see you next Sunday in front of this fire again. It's a Creative Fro, and I'm out.